A few years ago, I worked as an operator at the Municipal Surveillance Center. My job was to monitor dozens of cameras installed throughout the city. Streets, parks, bus stops, entrances to apartment buildings. The work was boring, but the pay was good, especially for night shifts. It started at the end of November. The city was already freezing from early frosts, and the streets emptied earlier than usual. That night, I started my shift at 11 p.m. The room was quiet, only the soft humming of servers. I scrolled through feeds mechanically. The square, empty, the Riverwalk, couple of pedestrians, the mall parking lot, deserted. But when I switched to the camera near the old department store, I noticed a figure standing in the back of the frame. A person, likely a man, facing the camera. He just stood there for a long time. I rewound the recording. There had been no one there a moment before. I zoomed in. The face was dark, almost blurred. He didn't move, just stared. I thought he was drunk or homeless, so I contacted the patrol and asked them to check the area. A few minutes later, the officer responded. He said no one was there. I looked at the camera again. The figure was still there. I nearly dropped my headset. I called again. The officer said, "We're standing right in front of the department store." It's empty. I switched to wide view. No one stood directly in front of the camera. But in the corner, the same figure. It felt like he was staring straight into my eyes. I switched to another camera, the one at the nearby intersection. The figure was already there, just as motionless, only a few dozen meters from where it had been. Seconds later, on the parking lot feed. Then, on the bridge camera. I jumped from feed to feed, trying to keep up. It appeared everywhere I looked. The face was still blurred, but now closer. I could barely make out a hint of a mouth, long fingers hanging at its sides. On one camera, it stood on the sidewalk. On another, it was almost at the lens. I froze. I called my coworker, but he was asleep in his chair and didn't respond. I looked back at the screen just in time to see the figure slowly raise its hand and point at the camera. At me. I recoiled. The feed glitched, blanked out for a second. When it returned, the figure was gone. I frantically switched cameras. Every street, empty. Then I saw it at the entrance to the building where our center was located. It stood at the door. The indoor camera showed an empty hallway, but the external feed, figure right at the entrance. It slowly turned its head toward the next camera as if it knew I was watching. Then the door shook. Once. Twice. Quiet knocks. My coworker finally woke up and asked what was happening, but I couldn't get any words out. The knocking stopped. On the camera, nothing. We both looked at the hallway feed. The lights flickered. A silhouette flashed briefly at the far end. I shouted, but my coworker just walked out into the hall thinking it was a joke. He disappeared around the corner. I waited a few minutes. He never came back. With shaking hands, I dialed 911. While explaining everything, I watched the cameras. Hallway, empty. Entrance, empty. Street, empty. As I talked, a small corner of the monitor flickered. On the camera facing the window to the control room, the figure stood there. It wasn't in the city. It was here. I turned around. No one in the room. But on the feed, the figure stood right behind me. I shut my eyes, then looked again. The camera showed an empty room. The police arrived 10 minutes later. My coworker was never found. The doors were locked from the inside. When I tried to explain, no one believed me. The recordings were gone, as if someone erased them. I've never worked a night shift since. But sometimes, walking past a security camera, I feel someone watching. And I'm afraid that one day, I'll see that blurred face staring right back at me. My name is Mark. About a year ago, I got a job as a night security guard at a shopping mall on the outskirts of town. A friend recommended me, said it was an easy gig. Walk around a few times per shift, watch the cameras, sign the logbook every couple of hours. The pay was good, especially for nights, so I didn't think twice. The mall was new but half empty. Many stores hadn't opened yet, and after 9 p.m., the whole place went dead silent. Just the low hum of ventilation, the occasional flicker of a fluorescent light, and the echo of your own footsteps. After midnight, even ordinary sounds start to feel wrong, like the air itself is listening. On my first shift, the head guard, a guy named Victor, mid-40s, tired face, gave me a quick rundown of the rules. Then, before leaving the room, he said something strange. If you ever see a little girl in a white dress, he told me, don't react. Just keep doing your job. Got it? I thought he was joking, probably hazing the new guy. I laughed. Victor didn't. He just repeated flatly, I'm serious. Don't look at her. Don't talk to her. After midnight, Victor went to the break room to nap, leaving me alone in the security office. I sat in front of the monitors, eating a candy bar, flipping through camera feeds, empty hallways, quiet escalators. Everything normal. Then, around 2 a.m., I saw something move on one of the screens. A flicker of white near the food court. I leaned closer. The next camera showed her. A little girl, maybe 7 years old, barefoot, wearing a white dress. She was walking slowly past the darkened food stands, like she was searching for something. My first thought was that someone's kid had been left behind after closing. I grabbed my radio and went to check. When I reached the food court, it was empty. Just rows of plastic chairs creaking softly in the draft. I checked the restrooms, the storage rooms. Nothing.
Just empty rooms. Come on.
Back in the security office, I replayed the footage. My stomach dropped. On the recording, I could see myself walking through the food court, and the girl standing right behind me, perfectly still. Then, just before I turned around, she vanished. I told myself it was a glitch, maybe a bad reflection, but something about it felt too real. By morning, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I asked Victor, that thing you said about the girl, were you serious? He sighed, poured himself some coffee, and said, 2 years ago, a kid died here. Her mom left her in the car on the parking lot and went shopping. By the time she came back, it was too late. Cameras started catching a little girl in white after that. Every guard who tried to talk to her quit. One disappeared. He said it calmly, like it was just another safety rule. I didn't laugh this time. The next few shifts were quiet. Sometimes I thought I heard faint footsteps, or a child's laugh echoing through the corridors, but I blamed the ventilation. Until one night in January. It was snowing hard outside. Around 1:30 a.m., one of the motion sensors triggered in the parking lot. I switched to that feed, and froze. She was there again, the little girl, standing barefoot in the snow, right in front of the gate, staring into the camera, her face completely blank. I don't know why, but I ran downstairs. Maybe I thought I could help her. When I got outside, she was gone, but in the snow, small footprints, bare, child-sized prints, leading not toward the street, but down into the underground garage. I followed them. The prints led between cars, toward a locked maintenance door. Then I heard it. Quiet crying.
Hello?
A little girl sobbing somewhere below me. I opened the door. A stairwell led down into the sub-basement, a place used only by electricians. The lights were off, but I went down anyway. My flashlight beam trembled across the concrete walls. Halfway down, a voice whispered, "Mister, please, help me." It was right behind the corner. I turned my light and caught a glimpse, just the edge of a white dress disappearing around the bend. I followed, but the corridor was empty. Only an old metal door, chained and padlocked. The crying stopped. Then something clattered behind me. I spun around, and there on the floor lay a doll. A child's doll, soaked and dripping, as if it had just come out of the snow. I don't remember running back upstairs. I only remember sitting in the security room shaking until morning. When Victor came in, he just looked at me and said quietly, "Told you. Don't go near her. I wanted to quit right away, but I needed the money. So I stayed. And for a few weeks, nothing happened. I started convincing myself that it was all in my head. Then one night at home, I was making tea when my phone buzzed. A motion alert from the mall's camera system. I'd forgotten to disconnect my access after leaving work. The notification said, "Movement detected, basement camera 3. I opened it. The feed showed darkness, the same basement corridor. Then she stepped into view. The little girl, the white dress. She was holding the same doll. She walked up close to the camera, looked straight into it, and whispered, "Mister, I found you." The feed cut off. I deleted the app, changed my number. But sometimes, late at night, I still hear a soft, sobbing sound through the walls. And I'm not sure that door in the basement was really locked that night.